Hello and welcome. This is Heidi's Homemade. I'm Heidi. Hello. And this is Flosstube episode number 38. So, I decided that since I don't really have a lot to show, I would show you a few things that I have finished in the last couple weeks, and then I would just do my WIP parade and make it all one episode. Okay. Um, Not a lot is going on. Right now, school is on break until the I go back on the 8th, but students don't go back until the 9th of January. Today is the 2nd of January, and I wanted to wait and do my WIP parade until after 12 by 12 so I could include those starts into my WIP parade. Um, yeah, I haven't really been doing a whole lot. It's been very quiet here. It's just me and the dog. I did um, give Sirius a really good trim. He was getting pretty shaggy. I finally got a pair of grooming shears for him, and I think he's been moping because I think he's cold. He's been very snuggly lately. And yeah, that was probably the most exciting thing that's happened to me recently. um, yeah, so let's get right into stitching because there's not really much to talk about. Um, so again, this is episode number 38. If you have been a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Hopefully there's some stuff that I show that you like and want to continue watching. Let's see. Some stats. I don't usually do stats, so I only have a couple for you. So I have a total of 52 new starts in 2023. I don't really keep track, but because I do put it in my Notions app, I was able to filter it and figure out how many actual new starts I did. So I did 52 new starts in 2023, but I did have 61 finished items. That does not include fully finishes. I did not count how many were fully finished and how many were finished. I just went through and counted finished. So I do have several that are waiting to be fully finished that have been hanging out from the last couple of years in the bin. And when I figure out what I want to do with them, I will fully finish them. Some of them I know what I want to do, I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Some of them are a little more involved finishes than what I am in the mindset to do. Or probably will be in the future. I don't know. Who knows? I might change my mind as to how I want to finish a couple of them, just to make sure that they actually do get finished and don't just sit in the bin. Yeah, those are the stats I have. So 52 new starts last year and 61 finishes last year. I thought the number was lower on finishes, but then I forgot about the name tags that I made. And once I added in all my little name tags that I made for my fidget group, that pushed it up a little bit more. So 61 is the final count of finishes. So, speaking of some of those finishes, I am getting ready to show you. I have 4 finishes that I have not shown you yet that I finished over the last couple weeks. And we will start with, this one. Let me see. This one is For Calling Birds from Satsuma Street. And this one is, I got this at Jingle Ball. So I ordered the 4-pack of her patterns at the Jingle Ball. And I have never done the beading or anything, so I did not get the kits. They didn't have any when I went to order these. Um, so I went out and got my own beads and some sequins to do it. I followed her instructions and did the one on either side thing, and I honestly I don't. So these over here are those, and they seem to be a bit more wobbly. But then when I got up to this part, I think I started with these and then went up that way, because these are also done this way. These are much more stable, and I just did like the one strand through it, and I liked those better. I guess it depends on what look you're going for. I'm not really sure, but this one is fully stitched. I do have the other ones in the lineup, and you will see those shortly in my WIP parade. But my plan is, once I finish stitching all these ones on the perforated paper, then I will fully finish them. So that is my plan, is to do like a fully finished like set once I get them all stitched. Because I figure if I'm going to fully finish one, I might as well wait and fully finish all of them at the same time. That's my thought process. So there's that one. It was really fun. It took me a minute, because that's the first time I've stitched on perforated paper. It did take me a minute to figure out how to stitch on it. And the way that I stitch, normally I stitch double-handed. So that actually helped with that, because your needle like falls through the holes. And so by stitching double with two hands, it was easier for me to catch the needle, like, you know, almost like throwing it and catching it. So like once I figured out that I needed to stitch it like that, it went way faster. Because usually when it's something that small, I just kind of stitch in hand and go back and forth. Because it's usually a little harder to stitch the way I like to stitch on pieces that are that small. So anyway, speaking of small pieces, this one is the next one that I did. And this one, there we go, is on a piece of yellow. I think it's called Harvest Yellow. It's by Zweigart. So this is from that bag that I showed on one of my last episodes. That was like a samples bag that I picked up at AZ Stitchers. And that's not even showing like the true color. It's very yellow in person. And it's showing up in my camera, from what I can see, it's showing up kind of beigey looking, but it's very yellow. And so I tried to pick colors, because this is totally not the call for colors. I tried to pick colors that would stand out on that yellow. This is a freebie pattern that is available on Fat Quarter Shop. I think it's just Fat Quarter Shop's pattern. I don't remember seeing a name attached to it. It's called, I want to say it's called Sparkling Snowflakes. And I stitched this in less than a day of stitching. So this only took me, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hours to stitch this guy up. So I did that one. And then once I finished that, I picked up this other piece of fabric and started stitching this guy. And this is Bee Minty from Heartstring Samplery. It's one of the freebies that she had at the Jingle Ball. And this is on also a piece from that sample bag that I got. And this one, I want to say it was called like Rustic Sea Splash or something like that. And that was also a Zweigart color. And I like these fabrics because it has that kind of grainy kind of look to it. But I think that it really, and this is the called for colors on this one as well. And I think that that color really kind of popped. I guess these are supposed to be poinsettias. I'm assuming that's what it looks like. And then there's the little bees. These little bees are so cute. But that's stitched up really fast too. I started it after I finished the sparkling snowflakes, and then I got about halfway done, and then I finished it the next day. So probably about 4 hours total, probably. But it stitched up really fast too. So I finished that. And then this one, I actually, so if you've watched me before, you know that last year I kind of struggled a little bit with New Year's, the 12 by 12, because I did put like a strand of floss in to kind of see like where to start when you pick it up on New Year's Eve. So like a week before I started prepping my projects and getting them ready, and I finished like 2 or 3 of them last year before I even made it to New Year's Eve. This year I was better. This year I only finished 1. So this is the one that I started and I prepped it. I put 1 strand of floss in, and then I just kept going. So this one is Harvest Wishes and Pumpkin Kisses from Primrose. And I did it on, I'm sorry, those were 14 counts. All the last ones were 14 counts. This one is on a 20 count raw. And I did not iron it, but it'll be okay. I think I'm planning on putting this into, and I can't seem to get it straight on the paper. This is the call for colors as well. But I think I plan on putting it in like a 4x6 frame and have it a standing little frame. If I can find a frame that I like. Something like a wood color, like maybe something similar to that one. But yeah, it's such an easy stitch, and I had it done in a few hours. Yeah. So that's the one that I that I started for the New Year's 12 by 12, and I finished it before I got to the 12 by 12. Okay, so those 4 are my last finishes of 2023. So let's start with the WIP Parade. And the first ones I'm going to start with, because you have not seen them yet, is going to be my 12 by 12 new starts. There's more than 12. Because why not? Yeah, there's more than 12. So, but they kind of go together. So we will start with the ones that are in here loose. So I have like 4 tote bags sitting around me that are just full of my WIPs, because I had to carry them from upstairs to downstairs to do this video. So my new starts for 12 by 12. So I kit all of the Satsuma Street ornaments up. So I had all of the floss So I have all of the floss for those all together. And so I started getting up like this. Instead of having full bobbins like this, I've just been cutting like 3 strands and putting them on my floss straps and kitting them up like that, which seems to work really well, especially for these smalls. But anyway, I kitted up all the colors because they use a lot of the same colors. So I'm like, why am I going to kit up 5 different sets for ornaments when they're all using like the same colors? So those are my flosses. The first one I'm going to show you, because I'm not really in any particular order. I'm not going to show you in the order I stitched because I don't remember what order I stitched them in. So the first one I got the last year's Jingle Ball Baubles, and I am doing this. So this one doesn't have too impressive of a start, but this is what I have. And I'm doing this all in the called for colors. So I have a nice, over here. I have a nice start on the bell. And this is on 18 count perforated paper. That is what it calls for. There's no beads on this set. And I actually cut the paper a little bit bigger than what I needed. And I'm kind of thinking I probably should have cut it a little bit smaller. But I mean smaller as in like this way. This way is about the right size, but this way is a little taller because I was going by what it said, but it's giving you like a ton of extra space. And I figured I don't really need, because I'm going to be cutting it off. So as long as I can stitch on it, I didn't really need, because this is almost the top of that first bell. And this is the biggest bell. So yeah, I don't know. All right, so next up is Lolly Claws, and let me grab my paper again so I can. So this is what I have for Lolly Claws. So the bell and Lolly Claws are probably the least stitched on out of all of the ones that I started for this. So there's that one. Super impressive, I know. So there's that. I'm trying to keep these organized as I'm going. The next one is Santa Cruiser. And this one's a little bit more. So that's that one. So I've got a nice start on Santa and his car. And I started with, so I'm a center starter. I always have been. It's weird for me to start in other places. Every once in a while I will, but for the most part I'm a center starter. I wanted to get to the tree to make sure that I didn't leave myself too short, but it's fine. So yeah, so there's that. And the last one of this set is going to be Cool Kid. And my patterns are all kinds of messed up. Okay. So the next one is Cool Kid. And this is what I have so far. So, I'm using 2 strands of black. I kind of think I should have used 3 just for the black because it's kind of sparse. I don't know. But it's fine. It is what it is. It looks fine. It's just going to be an ornament. And it's just for me, so whatever. But I have found that I do enjoy stitching on those. So I might end up getting more at some point. I did buy a 3-pack of different color perforated papers. I ordered them on Amazon. They're Mill Hill, and I was trying to figure out where to set these. Okay. And there was a pack of white, a pack of ecru, and a pack of the brown color. I don't know what color it is, but so I got those. That was a whole pack of the white for those. I have one more piece that I have another pattern for, but I haven't started it for. So start, okay, and then the next one is Be My Valentine by Stitching with the Housewives. And I am stitching on black with the called for DMCs, which is, it was kind of weird because a couple of the numbers of the DMC don't actually exist. So I had to go with my best guesstimate as to which one they meant, which was usually like a number off. So I'm stitching on black 18 counts, and this rose is 666. This rose is 347, and they look very similar, super similar. I was a little worried about that when I was pulling the colors, but I figured, you know, they made the pattern, they know what's going on. Looking back, I probably would have picked something a little more pink, maybe, to have a different kind of color. I don't know. It's fine. Whatever. It's just going to be a little ornament or pillow or something. I don't know. And I'm not really sure if I'm going to put the Be Mine at the bottom. I haven't decided that part yet. I figured I would stitch everything, and then when I got to the part where I had to stitch the words, I would figure it out at that point. Because I don't really decorate for Valentine's Day. I think it's cute, and I have a few things that I stitched last year that are Valentine's Day related, but I don't decorate or anything. So if I don't put the Be My Valentine at the bottom, then I can justify putting it out whenever, because then it's just a house with flowers. I don't know. All right, so the next one that I started was Blooming Tiny Town. And I started Honey of a Tiny Town last New Year's Eve. So I decided to do another Tiny Town this New Year's Eve. And this is the one that I picked. And I have almost all of them, so it could have been any, honestly. But I picked this one, the Blooming Tiny Town, and I am doing it on 18 counts, and this is, I want to say it's Picture This Plus because it's a really soft, which is why it's in a hoop. And it's Earthen, I think is the name of it. It's 18 counts, and it's like a pinkish brown. And this is what I have. Super impressive. But this is what I have for my new starts from 12 by 12. So I have a few more because I stitched like all day pretty much. I joined Sandy from Stitching with Sandy for her Zoom call that she hosts on New Year's Eve, and she starts at 9 a.m. California time. So I literally was stitching all day. So I have a few extra starts, and I knew I was going to have a few extra starts, so I was like kind of preparing myself for that. And this one, I really was not thinking about it when I think I just got tired of stitching on this one. And this one is a restart from last New Year's Eve. I decided to restart it and not stitch the white parts. I don't have a picture of it. It's from Just Keep Cross Stitching 2022 Christmas Ornament magazine, and it's the Scandinavian Christmas ornament, and this Ada is like all kinds of wonky. This is straight, and it's like, but I'm stitching on it, and I'm not enjoying this Ada. It's the wonkiness doesn't bother me because I'm going to be cutting it anyway and making it into something. The stiffness doesn't bother me. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is, but I'm really not enjoying stitching this. The pattern itself is fine. I have no problem with the pattern. But I'm also like, I don't want to restart it for a third time. So I might just stick it through. It's literally 2 colors. It is this red burgundy color and then this teal color. And you can kind of see this dark one. The tail got caught and I couldn't get it undone. I don't know what I did. I think I stitched through the floss, and so when I went to pick it out, it wouldn't. So I'm like, whatever, I'm just going to leave it. And on the camera, you can really see the difference because it looks way thicker than the rest of them. But in person, you really can't see it that well. So if I decide to continue stitching on this, I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to restart it for a third time. And I really actually like the pattern. I don't know. I'm not choosing good fabric for that one, I guess. Can't seem to get the right thing. So, I had it on just a white Ada. It was a softer Ada last year, which was fine. I didn't have any problem stitching on it. But I had started stitching it because there's supposed to be white in the negative space, and I didn't really care for it that much. So this one right there is Cozy by Liz Matthews, and that one, the negative space is just empty, and I really liked how that looked. So I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to do the Scandi Christmas ornament like that, and I think I'm going to like it better. So that's what I did, and I didn't. So yeah, I don't know. We will see. Next up is I didn't prep anything. I just grabbed them and went with it. So the next one is JBW French Country Umbrella. And last year for May, I started a couple different JBWs, and I really enjoy them. I like the fact that I can do it in one color. It doesn't take a lot of different colors. It stitches fairly quickly. So I currently have, there we go. I currently have that much done. I am stitching this one. It is 20 count Mimosa Green, and I am using Forbidden Fiber Co. Christmas Ivy. It's got slight variation to it, but it's really looking really nice on this really pale green. I really like how it's coming. And this one, once I start actually stitching on it, it should not take long to finish this. I anticipate this one being a quick finish in this year, which is fine. I like that because then I don't have so many WIPs. You know, and I honestly have not counted. I do not know how many WIPs I have. So if you're watching this and at the end of the video you have counted, let me know how many I have because I'm not going to bother counting. This one, I was stitching on it obviously for 12 by 12, and I was sitting in here because this is where I have a table to kind of set up for the Zoom call. And I was looking at the fabric yesterday because I wanted to stitch on something, and I ended up stitching on the Stitching with the Housewives. So that's why it shows a bit more progress than some of the other ones. And I think I messed up on some of the X's. I'm not sure if it's going to make any difference. So I'm stitching this. Okay, anyway. I'm stitching Gathering Snowflakes by Luminous Fiber Arts. And I'm stitching it on a 40 count True Blue from Fox and Rabbit. So I have like the part of his hat. And I'm starting to go down around to his face. So that's his hat, that like line. And I'm starting to go down to around his face. And I don't know if I'll do the border. I'm not sure. But I'm basically doing it opposite. So I'm just doing B5200. And this is, like I said, this is True Blue from Fox and Rabbit. And I'm not sure I like it. The fabric itself. It's really hard to see the holes. And it's only 40 count, so it shouldn't be that hard to see it. I stitch on 36 or 40 count linen typically when I stitch on linen. But that one is just being, I don't know. I'm not super thrilled with it. And maybe if I put it into a hoop, because it's not super hard to stitch on, so I haven't put it in a hoop, but maybe if I put it in a hoop and stretch it a little bit, I'll be able to see the difference in the threads a little bit better. I'm not sure. I'll probably try that the next time I stitch on it. Because I really want to do it. It might have been because it was darker. I don't know. My phone just turned itself on. It was weird. So, anyway, next up is Springtime Tapestry. And I put it in the bag backwards, but that's okay. Springtime Tapestry by Ink Circles, because I always have to have ink circles started. And I am doing this color conversion here. And I'm stitching this one on a 36 count Lugana, and it is, I want to say this one is Milk Chocolate, and it's from My Vintage Needle Arts, and that's what I have so far. I think it's going to look really nice on this color. It's a very muted brown kind of color. So there's that. Not like a whole lot to show, but it was a New Year's 12 by 12 start, so it is now a WIP. Okay. This one is So Boho. So Boho by Tiny Modernist, and it's got the patterns for all three of these, the scissor fob, the biscornu, and then the big one. And I am starting with the scissor fob. However, when I picked it up to work on it on New Year's Eve, I must have forgot which one I was stitching on, because I was following the Biscornu pattern and had to frog a ton of stuff. So I did not get a whole lot of stitching done on this because I tore out a ton of stitching. Because on the Biscornu, it goes down and there's like a bunch of stitches going this way. And I had done all of that in the yellow and I had to tear it out. Because then I was like, what pattern am I looking at? So I ended up just adding, because I think I had one little leaf for my starts so that I knew where I was starting it at. And so yeah, so I did not get a whole lot to show. And plus I think this is when we were playing a game on Zoom. I'm not sure. But I have the fabric cut and ready, and this is 16 count milk chocolate from my Vintage Eagle Arts. So I have the fabric for the scissor fob and the Biscornu. I don't know if I would have to order another piece to do the larger medallion on the same color. So I might end up doing it on a different piece. But I actually like the fact that they made it into like a project bag. I might end up doing that. But I really like the colors, and I'm using the called for colors. So I think that one will be a quick stitch once I actually get started on it and I'm looking at the right pattern. So yeah. Next one is the last set of the stoneware pin pillows. I did 1 and 2 last year. I want to say I did one for the 12 by 12 last year, and then I did 2 shortly after that, and then I was kind of done with them. And so this year for 12 by 12, because I already had the fabric cut and ready to go, I just had to pick it up and start stitching. So I did that for the 12 by 12, and I started with this one here. And I'm using the same floss that I've done with all of them, which is black raspberry from Gentle Arts. And this is what I have so far. And these are quick stitches. I want to say that I did 2 strands on the other sets, and this one I started doing with 1 strand, so I think it's going to look a little bit different, but it's still going to go together because it's still the same color. It's just a little lighter, a little primmer. But I love the variegation in the floss, how it goes from that kind of purpley blue to like a lighter blue and back again. It's a really nice floss to stitch with. I really like that color. So that's what I have so far for a start for those. And this is on 36 count Vintage Country Mocha. And each one of the sets that I did, if you haven't seen my previous videos with them in it, they are all, each set is done on a slightly different color. The first set I think was on Silver Moon or Platinum, and then Silver Moon, and because it was like a slightly darker shade for like going from the first one was the lightest, and then it went to a slightly darker shade, and now the Vintage Country Mocha is the darkest shade, and I think it looks really nice together like that. All right, next up is Christmas in Blue, and I started with this one, the one with the little cabin on it. Trying not to get the glare. There you go. So yeah, this one with the little cabin, and I am stitching it on 20 counts Mimosa Green. And this is what I have so far. I have almost the whole center stripe because I'm a center starter. I have almost the whole center stripe done. I just have to do the little bit that comes down here next to the cabin, and then the sleeve, and I'll have that whole center stripe done. And then I can start adding in some of the colors, and you can really start seeing it. I really like it on this minty kind of green color. I think it really looks nice. And I'm using the Call for colors. I didn't change anything. There wasn't a light green that was light enough that it was going to get washed away from this. And white should stand out pretty good too. So there's that. And that I plan on doing all 4 of them. Whenever there is a set, I typically plan on doing all of it. I usually cut the fabric up, and this is this is in a Grove reusable storage bag thing. But I have all the fabric cut, ready to go for each one of those ornaments. See, the other bags, if you were wondering, if you caught the glimpses of them, those are my bags. I have an Etsy shop. I have it listed below. If you're interested in looking at what I have, excuse me, available in my shop, they're there. The next one is Crochet Go-Go, and I seriously, leave it alone. One of my bags just fell over, slid right off. Anyway, I'm sure that's probably a common theme for the WIP parades. They're serious. So the next one is Crochet Go-Go, and I got this pattern last year or possibly even late in the year before, and I just never started any of them. So I actually have the pieces cut for all of them, and there's a freebie in this chart pack too. But I am starting with this one here with the little truck. Doesn't want to focus. But yeah, I'm starting with the one with the little truck in it. So it's going to be very hard to see because I started with a center start, which put me at the very bottom of the word tree. So let me see if I can get a, oh, that's not bad. So in person, you cannot see it. It's like invisible stitching. No, you can see it a little bit. The winter is going to have the teal from the truck is going to like shadow the word winter, so you'll be able to see that better. And I think once that gets in there, you'll be able to see tree better as well. And I can always put like a little bit of shading of the teal, or maybe backstitch the tree a little bit so you can see it. But I think once but I think once that there, you can like really see it there. Once that color is in there, I think it's going to be just fine. And this is on Cafe au Lait from My Vintage Needle Arts, and it is an 18 count. And I'm doing one thread on 18 count. I have been on a one thread kick on 18 counts for a while now, and I do not anticipate it going away anytime soon. But I plan on stitching all of those. I don't know how quickly I'm going to get through all of them, but I do plan on stitching all of them. Let's see. And I have one more from my 12 by 12. If you're counting, let me know how many I actually started, because like I said, I'm not counting. So this one is the Little Stitcher Robins and Stars, and I am starting with this one. I just really like her patterns, and I want to get more of them. So I started, there we go, and this is on 36 count raw with dots, I think is what it's called. And the two browns, the brown of the bird and the brown of the branch, are so similar, like you can barely tell that there's a difference. Like I kept double checking myself to see if I was stitching with the right color and if I was using the color that it was called for, because I'm just using called for colors. And it is, but they are so similar to each other. But I think this is going to be a quick stitch once I get going on it. And you can tell that it is now after the holiday because my phone is just blowing up with advertisements and stuff. And it keeps vibrating, and I keep looking down and like, what is going on? Because I had it sitting here for my notes, and I'm just trying to get some of these put away so that I don't have an avalanche as I continue going. So if I can get a few of them put away at least, then as I start with the next set, I have somewhere to go with them. And apparently this video is going to be very long, and I'm sorry, but it's a WIP parade, right? So that's kind of the name of the game. So next up are going to be ones that I've stitched on recently, okay? And I only know that because I took them from my bedroom. I always have like a pile of WIPs sitting next to my bed that I just kind of grab when I feel like stitching on them. So the next one is Be Like a Crow by Erica Michaels. And I'm doing the full thing. But I am only doing it in, it's going to be 3 colors right now. It's only 2 because that's what I have pulled. And I am doing it, oh, and I didn't even take it out of the hoop from the last time that I stitched on it. I am doing it on Picture This Plus Haunted. It's the leftover piece from when I did Away We Ride, because I did Away We Ride on this one. So this one will not take too long to finish, because this is the bottom of the pattern, and I'm just working my way across the word friends. And then I'll go up and I'll do the top part, which is the, there's like a motif that goes across from Hop Happily down. And then there is the Collect Shiny Things, and then there's the motif, and then it says Be Like a Crow, and then it has that nice crow at the top. But this is what I have so far. It's been a fairly easy stitch, and it's going quickly. I like the colors on this blue. That golden color is really kind of sets off the black, I think. And then I just have to figure out like I don't know, maybe one of the like the 430 numbers, one of those golden browns, to put in for that third kind of accent color. Because I was really trying to do 2 colors, but I realized pretty quickly that there was a couple different accent colors that needed to be separate. So I need to figure out that third color. Next. Oh, that was a bag from Forbidden Fiber Co. This one is as well, and this one is not started yet. So that is kitted up but not started. Oh, this one. Um, I have not stitched on this one at all this year. This was in a mystery box. It is still available to purchase, not as a mystery anymore. Um, and it's in black and white because it was a mystery box. So this is Haunted House from Forbidden Fiber Co. And with it came on this iridescent it's very, very sparkly, and it drives my eyes nuts when I work on it. Um, and I'm not really sure why, but I'm using their flosses because it was a mystery stitch along, and that's as far as I've gotten. I should pick this one up and start working on it again because I think that once I get going, it'll be fine. Um, I do have other opalescent fabrics that I don't have a problem stitching on, so I'm not really sure why this one bothers me so much, but it does. So I haven't gotten around to picking it up again. I do not have any goals for myself for stitching wise, other than stitch all the things. So I'm not going to be like I'm going to pick up every single WIP that I have. I have no idea. I stitch what I want when I want. And if I get into a groove of stitching something and I want to stitch it until it's finished, then I stitch it until I finish. Sometimes I will put a strand or two in and decide I am bored with it and I move on to something else. It's all whatever. So this one is one that I was volunteered to figure out how to make a housewife. So I was given this pattern, lent this pattern, I guess, along with with another one, and I chose to do this one because the motif is simpler, and I felt like it would stitch faster, and then I could get onto the actual construction faster. So it took me a minute to go through my stuff because you do have to do it on the size of fabric that is called for. Otherwise, the measurements for the housewife will not be correct. So it took me a second to figure that out. I went through the colors that I had and everything, and this is what I chose. This is a 16 count because it has to be a 32 16 count. And this is Granite from Forbidden Fiber Co. And this floss is Adzuki, like the bean, Adzuki bean, from Gentle Arts, sampler threads, yeah. So it's got a slight variegation to it, and I finished like the first page going up, and so I came back around to the other side, getting ready to do the same thing this way. It's not a hard stitch, but I do find it a tad bit boring. I like the color. I like the colors that the fabric and the colors that I chose. It's just it's not the most fun thing to stitch. I guess I don't know. I think I'm gonna like it when it's done. But yeah, I haven't wanted to pick it up and stitch on it, and I need to because I said I would figure out how to do the housewife. So there is that. Next up, this one, this poor little guy has been floating around so much, and I just have not worked on him. I started this one, I want to say I started this one in May, as one of my main new starts, because I started a new project every day in May. So this is American Coast, and I don't know why I haven't picked him up again to work on it, because I really don't have that much left. So this is where I'm at. And this is a kit that I got from the attic. And I omitted the dates. There was supposed to be a... No, never mind. It was the other one that I did, that I had the whale, that I omitted the date. This one is stitched exactly the way that it shows. So I don't really have that much left. I have the water with the sailboat, which the sailboat is 1/1. I have a few more stars thingies, a little bit left of the house, and then the flag, and then just I think it's supposed to be Smyrna crosses that go around the entire border, but I will probably just do a regular stitch. But yeah, this one, if I just sat and worked on it, it would not take that long for me to finish this one. I just haven't. And I think one of the reasons why I haven't is because there's this huge slug right here, like right where the sailboat's going to go. And so I've been procrastinating stitching. I think once, because there's the water right there too, and I think once I get past the water, I think that slug will not be in the way. I don't know, but I think that's one of the reasons why I haven't really stitched on it some more, because I had to like finagle the green across that slug. I tried to cut some of it out, and it just made it fuzzy, so I ended up just having to stitch over it, and I was not a happy camper about that. But this is all the called for. It's Lakeside Linen and Gloriana flosses, Gloriana silk flosses. This is everything that came in the kit. So there's that. And I really need to pick it up and work on it some more and get it finished. Because there's no reason why I haven't finished it yet, really, honestly. Okay, this one, I love this one. It's so pretty. This one is my only Nora Corbett, and it is, the name is on the pattern, just a sec. Little Snowy Pink Cottage. It's from the Snow Globe Village series by Nora Corbett. And I got this on 1-2-3 Stitch. So I'm sure they still have it. And I am doing this one on 32 count splashment with white. And that's what I have so far. I am pretty much done with the first part of the house, the big part, and then there's like the little garage thingy right there. And I did almost a complete color conversion on this. I am not using the Krynics that it is called for. It's called for like 6 different Krynics, and I am not doing that, mainly because I couldn't get all of them. So I'm like, if I can't get them, then I'm going to figure out my own color conversion. And so that is what I did. And yeah, I will be picking that up. I don't know when or whatever, but I have the bead kit, so it does get beads. And I need to put the pattern back in, or the envelope thing that it comes in. Okay. Next. Okay. This one is Doreen Jones, and I am starting with this one. Christmas Owls. And this is what I have. I am not doing the background, so I put it on this nice pale blue. The blue is called Bluebird. Yeah, Bluebird. And it is an 18 count from My Vintage Needle Arts. Usually on my dyed Adas and stuff like that, that's usually who I get mine from, because I like that they are a little on the stiffer side, because then I can stitch the way that I stitch easier. So yeah, he's starting to actually look like an owl. So there's a lot of color changes in that though, so it's been a little slow going, and sometimes that makes me like stitch not want to stitch on it as frequently. But when I like sit and actually stitch on it, it's not that bad. It's just like wanting to stitch on it, I guess. All right, so let's see. Next up is Acorn House from Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. This is the number 8 in the Pumpkin Lane series. And I did the number 9. So I started at the end of the series because I'm not putting these on the same piece of fabric. So I chose to start at the end. And I did Harvest House. And I am working on Acorn House. And this, I love stitching on this. This is so fun. And this is what I have so far. And this is on an 18 count that I got on Amazon, so there's no color. It was in a set that had like a set of a bunch of different colors. And I call it a putty color. It's a very putty type of color. But it's very similar to the color of the linen that they show. And I'm using the called for DMC on this. And I'm really enjoying stitching on this one. And a nice thing about these series is that it uses the same floss colors. So as you finish one, you can use the same kit up that you had to do the next one. So there's that. Okay. Then next up is, this is my blog stitch. This one is Caterpillar Cross Stitch, Bloom and Grow. I am doing this as my blog stitch along, where we stitch on whatever we want, but we can only stitch on one project. And basically it's designed to help us get something done. So there's a bunch of people who post, and there is what I have. And we post like every 3 weeks on our progress of one project. So I have all of the pots in there. I just need to fill in some of them, and then continue up with growing my flowers. So the stitch itself is fine. It's a lot of block colors, and I'm not a huge fan. Like, I want like I don't want it to be super confetti because I don't like changing my colors so much, but I also don't like it if it's like super blocky either. So I don't know. I want everything. Okay, that's another bag down. I'm going to pause for a second and clean up my mess. Okay, so that was probably nothing for you, but you know, it was a couple minutes for me. So, moving on. My next set, I'm sorry, Sirius wants to come up and say hi for a second. Come here. So here's Sirius. He just got a haircut, and he's been super wanting to be snuggled and held and all kinds of stuff. So I groomed him myself for the first time, so he's slightly patchy, but not too bad. And I need to go back and trim his face a little bit, but that's okay. But this is Mr. Sirius. And Mr. Serious needs to get down because I need to show people more stuff. Yeah. All right. Okay. Moving on. So, Serious, get back. So, next bag. This one I did not work on at all this year. And I'm honestly not sure if I'm going to finish this one. I probably should because uh, it's not like a huge project or anything. So this is the, I think it's just called Witchy it's just Cross Stitch Halloween 2021 is what this one's from. And this one's got a lot of color changes in it too. So this is what I have. And this I have not touched at all this year. It is on a scrap piece of smoke, and it's 18 count smoke from my vintage needle arts. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue working on that because I'm not loving stitching on it. But I haven't decided yet. I did UFO a couple things as I was collecting my bags. I was like, I'm not going to stitch on this. So yeah. Next up is and if you've seen my WIP braids before, you might notice which ones I UFO'd, but there's only a couple. This is Apothecary, and this is from just Cross Stitch Halloween 2022. And I started this for 12 by 12 last year, and I messed up on a part, and I stopped stitching on it because I was trying to figure out if I wanted to frog it because it was going to be a big deal to frog it, and let me tell you, it was a big deal to frog it. But I did because I do like the pattern, and I like the color that I chose to put it on. So this is what I have. And what I had done is I had stitched all the way across here instead of leaving it open for the tag. And so I have finished stitching the bottom of the bottle and have started coming up to the top part of the bottle. And that bottle is almost done. And then I'll move on to one of the other colored bottles. But yeah, I did stitch on this a little bit this year, and now that I have fixed it, because it took me, it was a pain in the butt to take it out because I had stitched, it was basically, I took like 2 strands of floss out, and then I had to restitch it, and then I basically restarted it. So there's that. All right, next up is Stitch Witch from Tiny Modernist. And this one was also a 12 by 12 start last year. And this is the one that I thought I was starting it on 18, but it was actually 14 count. So I didn't want to continue working on it until I had figured out if it was going to fit. It is going to fit with minimal margins, which is fine because I'll be finishing it myself and I can figure out how I want to finish it. I'm actually thinking it's probably going to end up on a project bag. So if that's the case, it will be fine because then I'll be stitching it into fabric anyway. So, but this is what I have so far. I have all of her bodice going up, and then a good portion of her skirt. Because once I got that house in, it's really mostly black fill. There's some vines and stuff, but that one I will probably pick up sooner rather than later because I actually enjoy that pattern. I don't know what he's barking at. Normally he barks at people walking by, but there's nobody out there. I can hear them picking up the garbage and like setting the huge dumpsters down again outside, so I wonder if that's what he's hearing. Let's see. Next up, I don't even know what some of these are in here. Oh, this one I have not worked on since I started it. I probably should. I started this in May, and this is the ink circles. I have random floss. I know what it goes to. Okay, if I remember when I'm done with my video. This one is ink circles, the mask square, and that's what it looks like. And I am stitching it on 32 count. 32 count? Yes, I think it's 32 count. Bloody Mary from White Hill. And I think that's the direction that it goes. And I am stitching it with Old Lemon Pie from Gentle Art. So that's what I have so far. That's almost one whole set, like center motif. So yeah, once I get that done and I move on to one of the corners, yeah. But you know, ink circles is not known for being a fast stitch, so. And I don't know why I have not picked that one up. Because I love ink circles, and for some reason I just have not grabbed that one to start working on it again. Okay. Next up is my Hunger Games stitch. And this is Forbidden Fiber Co. And this one I like randomly pick up and stitch on. It's a huge, huge stitch. And it is on 14 count. And I am on the center motif. So yeah, it is a huge stitch. And that is a lot of one color. It's so much of the same color. So that is what I have there. And I stitched on this a couple times this year, I think. So I just kind of randomly pick it up and start working on it. Sometimes, like, if I'm in the mood to watch the movies, I'll pick this up and start stitching it and give it some stitches, some love. And I typically just stitch for me, so if it sits in my WIP pile forever, it sits in my WIP pile forever. I don't know. If I still like it, I'll hang on to it. If I don't, then I will UFO it. The next one is Primrose Cottages White Christmas 2022, and I have the other one. I don't know if it's 2021 or if it's just White Christmas. I have already stitched this one, and I was working on this one. So this is what I have. So you can see I have that one done, and I have a lot of this one done, and I think I just, when I put it away, I just never took it back out again. I should take some of these out and start working on them because, yeah, it's not that I don't like it. I do like it. And I want to do some more ornament type stuff.
But yeah, I just put it away and didn't stitch on it anymore. But I do plan on doing all 4 of them. And it's really not that much stitching, so I don't know why I haven't worked on it. But I think that is generally, the truth for all of the WIPs, is I don't know why I didn't continue working on it. Next one, and this one is kind of hard to show because the picture is very small. And this one is from Stitch Sprout, and it is Under the Sanguine Moon, and I started this one in May. And that is what it looks like. And I am stitching it on 36 counts Black Magic Linen from my Vintage Needle Arts. And I'm stitching it 1/1, or 1/2. And I have the moon done, which looks really nice on this fabric. In camera, it doesn't pick it up as well, but in person, it looks stunning on this grayish color. And once I actually pick it up and start working on it again, it will be fine. I think I was missing a color, and so I put it away, and then I forgot to pull the color. I will have to check that. I need to put that in a different pile so that I remember to check that, because I think that was why I didn't continue, because I think the next color I needed to get, because I'm still newer at stitching on linen, I needed something that I could count to easily to continue, and I think that was the problem, is that I was missing a color. So there is that. Okay, next up, and I have not stitched on this one at all this year, and this one I do not have a picture of because it is an online magazine that I have, and this is from a set of 4, and I want to say this is Doreen Jones, and that is Bunny's Snow Globe, and it's cute, but I wasn't loving stitching on it. So I don't know. I think at some point I will get myself to finish that one, and I probably will not continue working on the other 3 because it's a 4-part series of Snow Globe. So whenever that happens. Next up is, and as you can see, these are not in any particular order. And if I can pull the cover, okay. So this one is Strawberry Fair. I finished Honey Fair, but I have not finished this one yet. And I did not start it with everyone else. I've said this many times. When I went to get it, it was out of stock, and then I wasn't in a huge hurry because, whatever. So this is where I'm at. If I just took it out and started stitching on it, it probably would not take me that long to finish it. But I'm in the trenches of the strawberry. So there's that. And that is a generic Amazon 18 count fabric. If there is a fabric that I forget to tell you what it is and you are curious, just put it in the comments below, and I will I will let you know what it is. I'm trying to remember to tell everything, but I don't know if I am. So next up is Ink Circles, Aspen Mandela, and I started that for May New Starts. And this is what I have. And this is on a 14 count, which I would not have put it on a 14 count except for this fabric, like, called for this pattern. It was in my stash. It's called, like, Rainy Day or something like that. I don't remember where I got it from. Gentle Rains is the name of this fabric, but I don't remember where I got it from to tell you. I got it on Etsy, and yeah, I don't know. But I have stitched on this several times this year, so yeah. At some point, I will pick that up again and stitch on it. Most of my WIPs, I will continue stitching on at some point. I don't typically UFO stuff, so. This one is Honey Modernist Christmas Signs, and I started with this one. And I'm not really sure why I stopped. The fabric is a generic fabric from Amazon, but is not difficult to stitch on or anything like that. And the color is fine. I don't know why I never picked it up again. I basically stitched on it like one day and then put it away and never picked it up again. But that's where I'm at. So I really don't have that much left. I just have the trees on this side, the like white that goes up a little bit, and then the rest of the words, and then like the little corners, and that's it. And back stitching. There's a ton of back stitching on this little guy. But I think the back stitching will just make it pop. So it is what it is. I'm not a back stitcher. I hate back stitching, but hopefully it will be okay. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to like just make a pile of ones that I want to pick up and work on and get done. At least one out of the set of ones, because I have a lot of those that are sets of something that I've started one and then was like, Okay, next one. This bag has a lot of ones in it. And I need to, because this has all of, like, pretty much all of my heartstring samplery patterns in this one bag. And so I just need to find the ones I'm actually working on. There they are. Okay. So I am working on the Festive Little Fobs Christmas edition. And I want to say a couple of these might be done. And they're just waiting for the rest of them to get finished. So I've got this one, which is pretty much done. And I'm stitching these 1/1 on 25 count natural Lugana. This one's done. It's a little wreath. This one needs to get finished. It's got a little pot underneath of it. This one needs to get finished. This one is, this one has a little reindeer inside of it. This one's almost done. And this one, I haven't decided. It could be done, or this one calls for an initial to go inside of it. So I might put an initial in it, but I'm not really sure. I might just leave it as it is. I think there's one more stitch. So I need to put, there's the little bell ringer that goes on each end of the little bells, and that's all that's left on this one. So there's that. And I have to be kind of in the mood to stitch on those because I did start them on such tiny counts. But I really enjoy the tiny count and the way that it comes out. Oops, I missed one. So there's that. All right, that is another tote done. And so we are almost to the end. All right, next up is this one. Might end up being a restart because I'm not in love with the fabrics that I have it on. And this one is Hoot Magic from what does she call herself? A Nana Witch Stitch, Mama Witch. So there's that. And I have this on a navy 18 count. And I'm just not loving it. So this one I might restart because I like the pattern. I'm just not loving it on this fabric. I don't know. Not loving it, and I think that's why I haven't picked it up. I've only worked on it like twice. When I started it, and then I went back and I added in. I think this one I added in the darker brown, but I wasn't loving it, so I might just restart it on a different piece of fabric. I don't know. This is another piece of like generic fabric from Amazon, and the fabric itself is okay. I can stitch on it, it's fine, but I think I like it better for smaller things, maybe. And I like the fabric that I get from Amazon that is a little bit softer, I think, which is ironic because I don't like soft fabric. I like fabric that is a little stiffer. All right, next up is Autumn Lane's Bewitched. And that one is a couple years old. I've stitched on it for a couple years now. And I have stitched on this actually quite a bit this year. And I want to say this is a piece of Haunted, but I'm not entirely sure. So that is what I have. So I have the whole bottom of her skirt done. I am working my way up. It's a huge block of color here. Huge block of color. So, and I'm not a super fan of huge blocks of color. But I do like the pattern, and I will continue stitching on it. It's not going to go away. But it just is taking me a little longer to finish it than I would like. There is that one. Although now that I'm out of that huge block of color, it should go a little bit faster because they're like the next blocks of color are not as big. Okay. All right. I've only got a handful more. Hopefully we can get this under 2 hours. So, next up, and I do not have a picture of this one. So this one is when I got it, it was a mystery stitch from Forbidden Fiber Co. And it is a bendy stitchy design that she has since then released in a different colorway. So it is not released in this colorway, because this was a specific mystery box through Forbidden Fiber Co. So this is Yule Ball from Bendy Stitchy and Forbidden Fiber Co. And this is an opalescent. You can see the shimmer on that. And this is the fabric that they sent with it, and the floss. I'm using the flosses that they sent with it. So I have the whole like outside border and the words done. So I'm just working my way through the inside. And there's all these little animals dressed up like people that are celebrating their Yule tree. And there's a Yule log there and stuff. And there's a little cabin in the background over here. So that one is not a hard stitch, really. I just need to pull it out and work on it more. I've only worked on it a handful of times, not enough to get as much progress as I would have liked, I guess. I don't know. Progress is progress though, right? This one I will probably take out again when it's March. I don't know. So this one is the St. Patrick's Day Smalls from Twin Peak Primitives. And I started on this one. And holy green Batman. That's a lot of green. And I think I kind of got burnt out a bit on the green. This is on just 18 count generic white Aida. It's not a hard stitch in any way, but I think I just got burnt out on the green. If I pick it up and start stitching on it again, I don't think it's going to take that long really to finish it. It's just a lot of block colors, and I know this about myself, that I do not like a lot of block colors. And yet I still pick stuff that has block colors. I don't know. But I have the fabric cut and ready to go for all of the little pillows. I don't know if they'll get finished as pillows. I don't know, maybe flat folds. I think they would be kind of cute as flat folds. I just need to figure out how to do a flat fold first. You know, one of those things. But yeah. Let's see. And next up is How Does Your Garden Grow from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Yes? Yeah, How Does Your Garden Grow from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This was released as a stitch along. I did not get it as a stitch along. I ordered it much later. And I'm stitching this one on, I want to say it's 16 count. Yes, it's 16 count. I ordered the kit, so they're called for colors. And I need to pick this one up. I do actually enjoy stitching on this one because it's block colors, but it's not as much. So it's like, it's a nice, kind of, I guess you could almost say it's a relaxing stitch. When it's something like this that I'm like, I don't really have a plan for it, but I just kind of like stitching on it. Not that I really have plans for anything because I just stitch for myself, unless it's like a small for an exchange. It just tends to kind of linger, and if something else catches my eye, then I stitch on something else. So there is that. Okay. And it's in this super cute gnome fabric. This one is from Dot Dot Goose. The St. Patrick's Day one that I just had, this one is from Black Cat Stitchery. Next one, and I have worked on this one a couple times this year. This one is Reindeer Christmas Gnome from Le Petit Pro. And that one has a ton of back stitching when I get to it. But it also has a ton of color changes. And this is where I'm at. And honestly, if I just made myself stitch on it, it probably would not take that long to finish. I am in his beard. I'm in all these like grays and neutrals, all that stuff. But I do stitch on him every once in a while, so he's all good. Okay. This one is one that I started along with my friend Melissa. We both saw this pattern at the attic and had to have it. So this is Haunted Mansion from Bendy Stitchy. And I am using mostly the call for colors. I think I changed a couple of them just to get the tone right that I wanted. And this is being stitched on 18 count, I want to say it's 18 count mulberry from my Vintage Needle Arts. And this is what I have so far. I could have had this done probably months ago, but I've been kind of purposely going slow on it because I don't want to finish it too much ahead of time of what my friend Melissa is. But I don't know if Melissa has been stitching on hers, so I might just pull this out and get some stitches on it. I originally had planned to stitch on it on like the 13th of every month because we started it on a Friday the 13th on purpose. So I had originally thought, I'll stitch on it on the 13th of every month, but then I kept forgetting to take it out because I do not follow rules like that, even ones that I make for myself. I just stitch whatever I feel like stitching, and that's what I do. So there's that. All right, we are down to my last one. And like I said, these were not in any kind of particular order. So this one, other than my 12 by 12, those were the only things that were kind of in an order. This one is Nevermore from Leela Studio. And I had bought the fabric and floss kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. And as I am stitching on it, I realized that I did not have enough floss to finish the pattern as called for. So this one kind of got put on the back burner until I figured out what I was going to do. And I apparently left my hoop on it, so I'm trying to smooth it out a little bit before I show it to you. I left my hoop on it. And I'm working a page at a time. And this is 18 count. So this is what I have. And it is gorgeous. I love the colors. It is very, very pretty. And I think I have figured out, except for this blue color, I'm hoping that I have enough of the blue to at least finish this motif that goes here onto the next page, because I cut it off at the page. I'm hoping I have enough of the blue to finish this page, or this motif. And then I will figure out, because it's supposed to have the blue going down the side right here too. but I think I figured out my other issues, because the browns, I did not have enough of the browns. Um, and some of these colors that were included in this kit, I can't seem to find on their website, so they might have been like specialty ones. Um, but even if I ordered like a whole nother set of the floss, I don't think it would be enough to finish it. I'm not really sure. And I don't know, maybe it says to stitch it 2 threads, and maybe I should have stitched it with 1 because it is 18 count. But at the time, I was still stitching like everything on Ada with 2 threads. So I don't know. Because this is definitely with 2 threads. But I can't switch now because I'm halfway done. I was just, there was no way. I don't think even if I had stitched it 1 thread on 18 counts, even if I had done it that way, I don't think I would have had enough floss to finish it. So there's that. So that is my last WIP. If you have stuck with me this long, I meant to do a giveaway in the middle of that somewhere, and I didn't. So if you stuck with me this long, you can participate in the giveaway because I totally forgot. And I am giving away embroidery patterns from the Hearts for Pam box because I do not embroider. I do have some friends who do, and they did get a chance to pick out what they wanted before I gave them away. So we've got this guy. This is all to one person. I've got this guy, this one, this one, and this one. So if you are interested in winning these patterns, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 embroidery patterns altogether. If you're interested in winning these 5 patterns, I would separate them, but because they're embroidery, I don't know how many of my audience actually does embroidery. If you, let's use the word hearts. So if you would like to win those patterns, in the comment section below, please use the word hearts with an S. So hearts with an S. And on my next video, which should be in approximately 2 weeks, I will do a random drawing to select a winner for that. If you have watched to the end, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe and like the video. If you enter the giveaway, please make sure that you are a subscriber because I will check. And please like the video as well. Okay. Giveaway is open to anyone. I will ship it wherever. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it for today. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my WIP parade. I now have a nice little mess to put away. And yeah, I will see you guys in about 2 weeks. And I hope you guys have a great day. Happy New Year.